Hey everyone, today's interview and discussion is with a gentleman named Serhii, who I met in Zaporizhzhia. He goes by call sign Bird. He actually is working with the Ukrainian Falcons in Zaporizhzhia, but I will let him introduce himself and tell us about how he got associated with the Ukrainian Falcons.
Before the war, I worked as an IT specialist. I implemented SAP on different enterprises across Ukraine, also abroad. And of course, I even can't imagine that it could happen in Ukraine nowadays, in one of the European countries. From the first of full invasion of Russians, like as many other people, I start to help our defenders. We had gathering medicines, clothes, foods, fuel, and different materials for arranging barriers. Once I came across the post on the Facebook and find that foundation Ukrainian Falcons was collecting medicines and other things for our militaries. From the day I joined the team of our foundation, now I'm engaged in documentary support our foundation works. I draw up different documents, looking for partners. By the way, that's how I met you, Paul.
Yes, I got to meet you because the two vehicles from my fundraiser, the Paul Goes to Ukraine fundraiser, went to the Ukrainian Falcons for MLRS systems, which I understand are now deployed. Speaking of which, so you live and work in Zaporizhzhia, which is only 25 kilometers from the Russian lines. Tell us a little bit about what that's like and how the war has changed Zaporizhzhia.
Yes, I live and work in Zaporizhzhia city. I have spent the most of my part of my life in the city, so I know its character, its dynamic, and people who live here. Zaporizhzhia has more 55 years old. This is a big industrial center in the eastern part of Ukraine, the symbol of which is a Dnipro hydroelectronic power plant, and the Khortytsa Island, of course, the heart of the Ukrainian Cossacks. Unfortunately, the Dnipro hydroelectric power plant doesn't work now. It was completely destroyed by Russian missiles. But we definitely rebuilt it after the war. Also, most known attractive place in Zaporizhzhia, this is a Khortytsa Island. Here there is a lot of beautiful places. People like walk here with their children, hiking, rent a bike, and look across this Khortytsa Island. Also, here is a hill of integrity. Remember, we were there on the Unity Hill when you come to Zaporizhzhia city. There is a beautiful views from this hill to the hydroelectric power plant and the river Dnieper. Also, here at Khortytsa Island, there is a museum of Zaporizhzhia Cossacks, the heart of Zaporizhzhia siege. The main wealth of Zaporizhzhia is its people. Very hardworking, strong-spirited people live here. They used to challenges and know how to support each other. They volunteer, help army, displaced people, and do everything they can to protect their city, our city, only in 25 kilometers from the front line.
So many people think of the war as starting in February of 2022, which was the full-scale invasion. But really, Russia started its assault on Ukraine in 2014. How did the events in 2014 with the Russian annexation of the eastern part of the country affect you?
The Russian invasion in 2014 was a turning point for me and many of Ukrainians. One day we realized the fragility of the peace. The treaty can come from anywhere and anytime. From the day we start more interested in political and military situation in our country. Also, that moment we understood how to important to be an independent country and have our own possibility to fight with enemy for our lives.
So, speaking of living in Zaporizhzhia, I know Zaporizhzhia is constantly under attack. Almost daily, I see reports of drones or missiles or other attacks on the city, again, only being 25 kilometers from the front. Tell us a little bit about what it's like to live and work in a city that's constantly under attack.
Living in the city that is constantly under attack is experience that difficult put in the word. You live your normal life, you work, plan future, but somewhere in the background you hear the sound of sirens or explosion, and you can understand that the threat can appear at every morning. For example, when I saw you off at the bus station when you went home, next day Russians hit the building of bus station by aerial a guided bomb. The building was destroyed. There were 19 people were injured. We learned how to work under attack, and even without electricity, people share information, help each other, and this built the strong sense of integrity. There were moments especially memorable when the city woke up after the night shell, not with fear, but with desire to walk and move forward. Or when you call your relatives or colleagues in the morning after sharing to be sure that everything okay with them, and it become like morning routine, like checking your email in the morning. This experience taught me to appreciate the simple things. A quiet morning, walking in the city, simple work, but at the same time be strong, not lose humanity, and to be able to support those around me.
So I'd like to thank Serhii for his time. I was lucky that I got to spend a few hours with him when I was in Zaporizhzhia delivering the truck. He showed me the city that he loves, the workshop where they upgrade the trucks to the mini-MLRS systems, but he also showed me around the city. He took me to the hill that he mentioned. He took me to see the bridge. We saw damaged buildings. But more importantly, we saw a city that has had part of its heart ripped out. But nonetheless, the people of Zaporizhzhia still have heart. They still have fight for their freedom. They live just 25 kilometers from the front line, and they keep their spirits up, even in the face of daily attacks. The people of Zaporizhzhia reminded me of the people of Detroit, the people of many industrial cities in Michigan, people who work hard, don't expect any quarter or grace from above, and yet keep their spirits up and their energy going. It was an honor to meet Serhii and his coworkers. It was an honor to see their shop. I'm glad I could be some small part in their effort. I encourage all of you to please make a donation. I'll put a link here for you and in the description below. And again, Crimea is Ukraine. Slava Ukraine.